ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the You Conference December edition. Yes, you are welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from whichever part of the world you are joining us from. Indeed, I'm super excited that we are hosting the last conference of the year just to draw your attention to yourself and focus on what you're going to do come 2023. So thank you so much for being a part of our journey from the beginning of this year till now. And I want to welcome everyone, whichever part of the world you are at the moment. Make sure you are sharing this broadcast because it's gonna go fire. So we're gonna get this kind of fire coming. I don't know where you are, I don't know what you're doing, but listen up. Draw your pen close to yourself and your writing material because we are about to write you your story in 2023 already. So, yes, thank you for joining us. If you are just watching me for the first time, I am Benita Samuel, one good person who is interested in what you think about yourself. I'm not interested in what they think about you, what they assume about you, what they believe about you, what they feel about you is none of my business. Because my business is about what you think about yourself. What you think is the most important thing, not what they say. Because you become what God said you are. And if you know who you are, know what you represent, know where you're going to, know where you're coming from, nothing is going to distract you. So stay focused. And yes, always believe that you are not just strong, you are not just brave, you are not just awesome, you're not just special, you are a masterpiece. And it's about time you wrote that personality come 2023. So, yes, welcome to the show. So, yes, let me see. On today's episode of the Yukon Friends, I have these amazing personalities already who are joining me from all over the world just so we can talk about how we can stay focused using that power vision come 2023. And right about now, I'm going to introduce to you this amazing personality who is going to anchor this conference. Already, you know her. If you have watched our first two episodes, you should have met this amazing personality already because she's no, just nobody. She's a firebrand born. She is power packed. She is a whole powerhouse by herself. So join me as I welcome Kamora Jaffa.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
my lady. Yeah.
Thank you
Welcome. So,
for that
Kamora,
wonderful introduction. So I am Kamar Jafar. I am host of Tea Talk with Kamar Jafar. I'm also the founder of Q Classy Christian Women Empowerment Group, where I empower women to become their best selves through Christ. I'm also a music teacher. I teach voice, piano, and worship leadership at Kamara School of Music. So I am an entrepreneur, and I am just so thankful to be here with you all today. I'm so thankful for the opportunity. I am also a wife and a mom. So I'm wife to Norris Mosley, and I'm a mom to Norris Mosley the second and Camden Mosley as well. So I'm just again so excited to be sharing with you all today. So excited to introduce to you some amazing speakers on today. I'm so thankful for those of you who are watching. And do me a favor, while you're watching, go ahead and share this video. We're going to be talking about the power of vision and the benefit of setting visualized goals. And I absolutely love the topic, the power of vision, as far as your eyes can see. And so while you're sharing that video, while you're liking it, feel free to comment, ask any questions that you feel. Our speakers will be more than happy to answer any questions for you on today. And I also want to just encourage you that as you're getting these nuggets, as you're understanding and learning more and more of the power of vision, go ahead and begin to visualize where you're going to be this time next year. Go ahead and begin to visualize as far as your eyes can see what you want to occur in your life between January and December next year. And we don't want you to just stop there. We want you to visualize where you're going to be 2 years from now, where you're going to be 5 years from now, 20 years from now, as far as the eyes can see. I absolutely love that. In Genesis 13, the Lord was telling Abraham to look to the north, look to the south, the east, and the west. As far as his eyes could see, God was going to give it to him. So I want to encourage you today to believe and to trust God that if you can see it, He says he can do exceeding abundantly above all we could ask or think according to the power that works in us. So we don't want to just visualize it. We want to take action. And so some of our speakers today are going to give you some action steps, are going to give you some benefits of setting those goals, because we don't just have a vision, we also need a plan to get us to where we want to be. So again, I'm Kamar Jafar. I'm so excited to introduce to you our first speaker. I hope you got your notebooks ready. I hope you got your pen, because we've got a well of wisdom that's about to pour into you on today. So I want to welcome our first speaker. She goes by the name of Sheila Malcolm. She is a certified transformational life coach. She is the owner and CEO, a compassionate empowerment officer of Look Within Life Coaching LLC. She's the author of the book Free Me From Me, okay? Chains Were Meant to Be Broken. She is a passionpreneur. She believes that the pain we go through can be repurposed through resilience to help us become the authentic person we were meant to be. We were meant to be. Please welcome to your screen, Sheila Malcolm.
So I think a network actually took her out at the moment.
Gotcha. I do apologize. I'm looking and I don't see her right at the moment, but I'm sure she'll be joining us soon. So we're going to roll on to our next speaker. I missed that. And so I'm going to introduce to you our next speaker, because no worries, we've got some power pack men and women here today that have, again, just a well of knowledge for us to be transformed and to receive on today. So I'm going to introduce to you Ricardo Wilkins. He is a travel coach, and after working in the government sector for nearly 20 years, Ricardo discovered there was more to see, to do, and to share in life. He was led on a path to entrepreneurship, personal development, and guiding others while following his inspiration, his other inspiration to travel. His vision is for everyone to be healthy, to be inspired, and to live freely. Please help me welcome Ricardo Wilkins to your screen. Good day, Ricardo.
Good day. Good day. Thank you for that really tremendous introduction. I appreciate it. Thank you for all the guests for checking us out. It's really an honor to be presenting and speaking with the other speakers today. And I want to thank Bonita for inviting me to talk, to share with you all today. That's truly an honor. When she initially asked me, I accepted her invitation before I even knew what the topic was. And I did that because I always try to take a leap of doing anything outside of my comfort zone. But when I saw what the topic was, I got really excited. So why is having a vision so important, and why is taking action using that vision as a catalyst so critical? Now, for most of my life, I never acted. I would have never done anything like this. I stayed doing what was comfortable for me. In high school, when I played sports that I was good at, I didn't take a leap to challenge myself and to get to the next level. In college, I took the easiest classes. I did anything I could not to speak in front of others. After college, I turned down jobs that might be a challenge. I turned down jobs that had any inkling of leadership required. And this continued for over a decade. Then I found a job that paid okay, but it wasn't challenging. And it didn't bring anything out of me. And for most of my life, I took the least action possible. Then one day I woke up and I realized what I've been doing my entire life, how I've been playing it safe, was really a detriment to who I really was and who I could become. So finding a vision, so I decided to find a vision for my life and take actions to create that vision. In all those years of learning and growing, what I discovered is have dreams, and from those dreams, create goals, things you want to accomplish. And the key to achieving those goals, in my opinion, in some ways, this is the most rewarding, is becoming the person, the individual that can manifest those goals. The journey is becoming, and you become by doing and taking action. Now, my mentor, Richard Bliss Brooke, has a saying, and it's what if you fell in love with the process of becoming, the daily activities needed to be the individual, the role model that can accomplish whatever you set your mind to. And then when you set goals, then you write those goals down in detail. Now imagine you've heard that before, but what a lot of people might not do is write down your vision. And your vision is who you need to be to achieve the goals. It's the actions you take every day and every week. It's the visualizing the state of being, the vibration of that individual that can accomplish those goals. And a great example my mentor shared that helped me really get this concept was, if you have a goal of walking across your country. Now, I encourage you to write that goal down. Envision the accomplishment of getting to the other side, the wars, the accolades of reaching that goal. Visualize, write down the goal of people congratulating when you get to the other side. But the vision is the actions you must take to walk across the country. The vision is taking each step. The vision is, not when you don't want to go anymore, but not quitting. The vision is crossing each mile at a time. The vision is taking the action. And when you move, the universe will move with you. So have a goal, but also have the plan and the actions for a holistic vision. And when you fear the fear of taking action, you know you're moving in the right direction. Step into the fear. Now, we have something called our reticular activator system. And that's the part of the mind that filters in and out information based on your programming and your beliefs. It determines what our minds see and perceives around the world, in the world around us. It defines the story we have in our head, the story we make up about the story we make up about other people and opportunities. Do we tell ourselves a story of success or mediocrity? We might have a goal of earning $1 million, but based on our upbringing, our belief system is really $70,000. So regardless of what we want, our reticular activator system is going to guide us to maintain that $70,000 belief system. That's why so many people, when they win the lottery, they lose the money, because their reticular activator system, that foundation of that foundation of belief, will guide their life back to what their subconscious believes. So when you set goals and a vision that corresponds to those goals, our reticular activator system hears that. Now we'll see the world and opportunities that will correspond to that. You see more opportunities and you take action to engage with those opportunities. Your state of being and vibration will be aligned with your actions. I have a saying, and it's be inspired and be free. Find your inspiration. Find what moves you. Is it travel? Is it music? Is it animals? Is it medicine? It's different for everyone. Create that vision from that inspiration. Write it down and move, act, and you'll find yourself living a free life, a life you designed. Thank you.
Awesome. Very good. Very good, Ricardo. I absolutely love that. Be inspired and be free. Because we all know it makes no difference to write a vision, to set goals if we're not inspired, if we don't have the passion that it takes to accomplish that vision. You said a lot of wonderful things. The journey is becoming. I absolutely love that. I've never heard that thought before. To first, we've got to become the person that can accomplish that vision. It makes me think about athletes. They've got to do the work before they can even get out there to attempt to win that ring or that trophy. I'm not a sports person, but the ultimate goal. So, you're absolutely right. The journey is becoming, and we've got to fall in love with the process or we will give out. We will have some burnout, right? So you shared a lot of great things, and I'm just so
Thank
thankful
you.
for you this morning. I'm sure that there's going to be some people to watch the replay today or in the coming days. And again, if you're watching the replay, feel free to ask any questions. We can tag Mr. Ricardo in the video. I'm sure he doesn't mind
Not at all.
answer any questions for you. So thank you for pouring out to us on today. Thank you so much for your time. And let me ask you this one more thing before you go.
Sure.
What would you say is the ultimate benefit of goal setting? If there's just someone out there that is just like, well, hey, I just kind of fly by my hip, as they say. What would you say is the ultimate benefit of goal setting?
In my experience and everything I've learned, I would say the benefit of writing goals down, it kind of just it defines it in a way. It
Hmm.
defines it with yourself in your mind. Like I mentioned, the reticular activated system,
Yeah,
it kind of sets it sets a mark or in your mind that okay, this is something we're looking for and this is something we're aiming for. So and then you'll start to find see opportunities, see life in a way
absolutely.
that will guide you towards that goal.
Absolutely. It brings us that clarity,
Hmm.
right? It
Yeah,
sets those, and it gives us focus so that we're not just living life and not
exactly.
going anywhere. So thank you again,
Thank
Ricardo.
you.
Up next, I'm going to call up our next speaker again. Before I call up our next speaker, don't be selfish. Go ahead and share this video with someone. Share it on your page. Share it with someone because we're going to be transforming our lives next year. And I don't know about you, but I'm looking to do some new things. So I need some new information. So if that's you, if you know someone else that is kind of in that goal setting process, go ahead and share this video. And you're in for a treat. Up next, we've got Renee Tour. I hope I said that right. Renee Latour. Is that correct?
That is correct. You got it.
So up next, we've got Renee Latour. She is actually a business strategist. Um, she is the business strategist behind the Ticket to Freedom brand that helps six-figure coaches and service providers go from feeling trapped and burnt out to being location independent. So I am definitely looking forward to hearing more about how to become location independent. I have actually never heard that phrase before, but I'm sure she's going to elaborate a little bit more. She's a full-time traveler and part-time entrepreneur, coining the term fancy nomad. Oh, I'm going to love this. To describe her unique lifestyle. With over 16 years of experience and a degree in business management, she has extended her knowledge and expertise to help other solo entrepreneurs build businesses that run without them by leveraging the power of systems and teams. So they too can travel the world while successfully running their business and only working a few hours per day. Please help me welcome Renee Latour. Good day, Renee. Good day.
Good day. Thank you so much for that warm introduction. Your energy just got me going. So thank you so much, Kamora. And thank you to all the speakers that are here today. Thank you for putting on this event. I'm very honored to be here and share a lot of the same sentiments as everyone else who's speaking today about the power, really, of vision and taking action. Like almost more importantly, like they're two together. Like it's a full equation with both your vision and your action. And I'm really excited to be here. I'll share a little bit more. I appreciate the introduction and talking about the program that I currently run, but I want to talk a little bit about the background story, because I didn't just, pop over here to Peru and just traveling full time and only working part time. Like we all know that doesn't happen overnight. And it's great that Ricardo's here because I also came from government. So I worked in government actually for 10 years before quitting my job and taking the entrepreneurial plunge. I always knew I had that entrepreneurial spirit, but I wasn't listening. I was just kind of like, I love what, Ricardo shared about kind of hiding and not really doing the challenging things and not always stepping into that leadership role. And even though I was more of like an intrapreneur in my organization and I loved it, I loved all the projects we were working on, I knew that there were bigger plans for me. And I knew that I had to take massive action to make things happen, even if it felt really messy. And even if I felt like I wasn't ready and I didn't know what the heck I was doing, that was all true and accurate. But okay, good. Can you hear me and see me? But even though all of that was true and accurate, it still didn't stop me from taking action. That's why I just am so passionate about this topic. So after I quit my job, my partner and I launched a finance company that's based in the US. And about 6 months in, taking a trip to Europe, we realized we could run the business remotely. We just had to make a lot of tweaks. Like we had an office. We thought we were going to be a brick and mortar. That was our vision originally for the business. And that whole thing changed when we really realized we can do it from anywhere. And we both have this passion for travel. So I spent a lot of years, because we're talking, this was like 2016, started the business. And now here we are going into 2023. It's been a journey and it took years to get us to be able to run our business from anywhere in the world. So that's what I mean by location independence. You can run from anywhere in the world in any time zone and still deliver the service to the highest level possible to your clients. And so we've been doing this, for years now, and it inspired me to help other entrepreneurs do the same thing. And a lot of times, even the clients that I help, they kind of see my lifestyle and they see that I travel, they see that I'm not killing myself working all the time and still creating all of the financial freedom that I could ever want in my life. And people started asking me how. And that's when I started helping them. And even if freedom to you isn't traveling, like that's big to me, location independence, maybe that's financial independence. Maybe that's spending time with your family. Maybe that's spending your time dancing or painting or doing whatever the heck you want and not having to be run by your business. Like so many entrepreneurs run their life around their business and not the other way around. So I just want to give a little backstory on that and my passion behind the work that I do to get people basically removed from their business and into the freedom lifestyle they want. And this all plays into the reason why this topic is so important to me personally. And I want to give you a lot of takeaways and kind of some things that I'm going to be sharing with you and some things that have worked for me. And I want to know, like, if you guys have ever heard the term of be, do, have. Anybody? Let me know if you've heard the term in the comments or in the chat, whatever. So if you haven't, what this concept is, and one thing that I continuously remind myself again, taking messy action, doing things before you feel ready, is all about this idea of instead of feeling like you have to have something, like I have had to already accomplish the goal. I have already had to have that vision happen to me in real life, to then do the things I need to do to be the leader, to do the things that scare me, to do the things outside of my comfort zone. And then I will become that person I envision. And then I will be the person who steps on stage. Then I'll be the person who is compassionate. Then I'll be the person who spends time with my family. And that just never happens. So we see so many people, you go through their whole entire life and not accomplish what they wanted to accomplish. And I think that's because of not having the power of be, do, have. So instead, being that person, and Ricardo touched on this, and I was so grateful that he did, is be that person now. Be that person today. And that person that you're envisioning, because envisioning is so powerful. Manifestation is so powerful, absolutely. But it's not, you won't achieve anything without the habits, without actually being that person today. Like there's nothing to wait for. You don't have to wait for next year. You don't have to wait for, 10 years from now or certain things to happen to you in life. Be that person now. And then what happens after that is you do, right? So you're that person. You're like, okay, this is the person I'm envisioning. I'm that person today. I'm going to do what that person would do. And you will have what that person has, that envisioning of yourself, that person you are becoming, that he or that her, or whatever it is, you will be becoming that person, but it's only by that action. So when we talk about vision, having that vision, and like Ricardo said, being very clear about it, what does it feel like? What does it taste like? What does it smell like? Being really, really clear about that. One thing that I do, and let me know if you've ever done incantations. If incantations is new for you, let me know, like write in the chat or comment if you're watching the replay, like what's incantations, or if you've tried it, like yes, incantations, absolutely. So incantations is something that you can do. Oh, awesome, Sheila said, done it, yes. Incantations is something that you can do every day. And why this is so important has been so huge for me in my life, and something that I always go back to. Like I find myself when I fall off of my incantations and I know I need to go back to them, is because that's you practicing your vision every single day. And all incantations are is an I am statement. So whatever your vision is, say your vision is, I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to have $10 million in the next 5 years. And that is my vision. Like, I know that's what I want. I'm just using this as an example. It could be anything. It could be, I'm a mother with 2 kids. I'm flying in an airplane to, Malaysia, and I'm going to live in Malaysia for whatever it is for you, traveling, whatever. You have that vision, but how do you instill that in yourself every single day? And this is where the incantations come in, and the I am statements. And if something is really big, like I like to use the example of like the millionaire, it's financial goals is always something for almost everybody, right? So say it was like, I'm going to be the millionaire. Well, if you're saying to yourself, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. The problem with that in the daily incantations, because you're going to be telling yourself these incantations every single day, like you're listening to them, and I'm going to tell you how you're going to do this. The problem with having that big picture and that vision, which is going to happen with you taking these actions, is your subconscious and your conscious has to believe it. It has to be believable. So if you're $25,000 in debt, your consciousness is not going to believe this. So how can you create I am statements that are more simplistic and more achievable for you in the next, say, 6 months to a year? And here's the beautiful thing. They're not going to be forever. You can keep changing them again and again, right? So for example, with the millionaire incantation, it could be, I'm responsible with my finances. Every day you are hearing that. I am someone who's responsible for their finances. You're just hearing that every single day until you've accomplished that. That's outside of your comfort zone. And then you move forward and you record a new incantation. And this is as simple as it is. You just take your phone, you have a recording app already in your phone, and you record all those incantations. And you can touch on many things as you want. I'm healthy. I go to the gym every single day. Whatever those small things are that you're telling yourself, I'm the person who takes care of my body. I'm the kind of person who doesn't hit snooze. Like these small things that you're telling yourself every single day, and you listen to it when you wake up and you listen to it when you go to sleep. Like this is something that you can do every day. You're just continuously programming yourself into that person you're becoming. And I have a second one if we still have time. I'm not keeping track of time. Are we good? Okay, great. So awesome. So one other thing I want to touch on, because there's like 2 things you can do every day that are really small to take action, is the first one, the incantations. And then the second one is your habits. And I know people are kind of like, oh yeah, duh, I know all this, right? Well, I want to keep it simple on like what habits to create, right? Like I have this really big vision. And if you're like me, I get really geeked out about goals. So I plan out, if you've ever read the book, if you've read it, let me know. It's called The 12-Week Year. Has anyone read this book, 12-Week Year? It's an incredible book all about goal setting, but what it basically does, and it proves by system, that you can get more done in 1 year than regular people achieve in 3 years by breaking it down to quarters. So it's kind of a geeked out way. If you're interested, I'm happy to share all my resources with you. But when you do that process and you break down your goals, you need to think about, what am I going to do every single day? And sometimes people like to kind of chill out, like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to do my thing. But if that's already a habit for you, right? Or flossing your teeth, if that's already a habit for you, that's too easy. That's something that like, okay, that's a great habit to go on a walk or, around the block or whatever. But what can you do to push you outside of that comfort zone? So I just want to leave you with, when you're setting your goals, when you're setting your habits, like 1 to 3 max, like don't go crazy. Most people like, I want to be healthy. So now they're vegan, they're running marathons, they're going to be gluten-free. No, keep it simple. 1 to 3 of your big habits that you're going to be doing every single day, and think about what's going to push me outside of my comfort zone. And if I'm having a hard time doing that, what could I do to make it ridiculously simple? Like I always say, stupid simple. Like if there's resistance there, which there's going to be because your old self is trying to hang out with your new self, that gap, that resistance, how you overcome that is by being really, really simple. So say, for example, one of your habits is like, I'm going to send out 20 direct messages to people because I'm growing my business and I just need to get people in the door and I need to make some sales. So I'm going to send 20 direct messages. That could feel really overwhelming at first, right? So how about if this first week was like, I'm just going to send one. I'm going to send one and let momentum work for me while I'm busting through that resistance. Because what's going to happen is you're going to be building confidence with that momentum. So just keep it super stupid simple, like in the beginning, and you're just going to be building that momentum as you go. So that's what I wanted to share. I wanted to share those two things that have like worked for me just to actually take that action and keep it really simple, and things that you can like start doing this tomorrow. There's no reason to wait for the first. So if you guys have any questions at all, I'm happy to answer questions or share a little bit more about whatever. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing so many good things. I do have one question, if I can. Uh, so what do you tell someone that is dealing with what we call imposter syndrome, right? Because we talked about, or you shared with us about the be, do, and the have. So we first need to be, right, to become that person. So, but what do you tell someone that's struggling with the identity of having imposter syndrome? They may not feel like, well, this is not who I am. How do we come?
Absolutely. I love this conversation because when I talk about the gap of like your old self hanging out with your new self, this is imposter syndrome. It's real. It's not like, oh, I'm feeling bad about myself. No, it is real deal. You're old, so what do we do to break that? The incantations are so powerful. It's not woo woo. This is science. I love that Ricardo touched on that. This is science because you are saying these things to yourself and your brain wants to problem solve. Your brain wants to make that a reality for you. So if you're saying, I'm responsible with my money, I'm the kind of mother who spends time with my children. I'm the kind of, I'm just using random examples, right? Like I'm the kind of person who, again, wakes up when sets a bedtime timer. Like for example, for myself, again, going back to an example, I'd love to give you one. If for years I could tell myself like, oh, I just like sleeping in, I'm more of a night owl, da 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 da. Some of that could be true, right? But then some of it could just be the story that I've told myself. So instead, if I change that and I say, okay, I'm actually someone who, look, rise and grind, not really grinding, but like rising up early because I know that that's just going to create the best day for myself. Like I know by practice that that's what happens. So then I go back to, okay, what's the simplest thing I can do to make that a reality for myself, to make sure I wake up at 5 a.m. and not hit snooze? I have to go to bed at a certain time. Like I have to have a bedtime for myself. So what is that bedtime? Okay, my alarm actually goes off at 9 p.m. at night, not at 5 a.m. in the morning, right? To get me started the day before. So this is like this little thing that I'm doing, and that's building the confidence to get you out of that imposter syndrome because you're actually doing the thing. Like, and it's only by actually doing and taking action that you build up that confidence and you build up that identity to your new self.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Absolutely. I was not familiar with the term incantations, but I'm more familiar with what is called declarations, right? I'm assuming it's the same thing, just maybe a different term, and that is definitely a solution to that imposter syndrome. So thank you so much for sharing. You share such good stuff. I love the idea of not just being location dependent, but whatever dependence you want, having that freedom to live the life that you really want to live. I also love what you said, doing before you feel ready. So many of us struggle with fear, right? Or like we feel like we've got to go ahead and have everything in place, just doing it. And again, what Mr. Ricardo touched on as well, getting out of that comfort zone, right? We've got to challenge ourselves. Very good. And of course, those smaller goals, and that's something I've got to work at because I've got such a big goals and visions. And so my declarations are really more big, right? They're more long term. So that's something I've got to implement myself, is breaking them down, making them a little bit smaller as I'm goal setting. So thank you again, Renee, for sharing. You have been absolutely wonderful this morning. And please feel free to share any resources, especially in the comments, so that our viewers can get some of that good information that you've got. I've already wrote down that book, the 12-week year. So yeah, feel free to drop any resources in the comments. And if you are watching, go ahead and again, share this video. Go ahead and share, like, comment. And again, like I say, share it with someone. Let's not be selfish. We've got some more awesome speakers. It's not too late to share this information. You can share with someone to watch the replay. We have got to do some new things for the new year to get us set up and ready to conquer more of our vision, to become transformed so that we can be, do, and have. Right, Renee?
Yes, yes.
Awesome. So up next, we've also got a special treat for you. I am excited to introduce to you our next speaker. Our next speaker is, let's see, from his experience as a chronic pain warrior. I'm sorry, our next speaker is Trevor Moore. And from his experience as a chronic pain warrior and mental health advocate and coach, Trevor knows too well that when facing challenges and adversity in our lives, we will rely heavily on our habits, our self care routines, and mindset. Oh, this is going to be good. Trevor helps athletes, entrepreneurs, and adults who are navigating stress, overwhelm, and burnout find traction in their day and re energize their life goals and personal growth. He believes success, health, and wellness are inside jobs and empowers people to take ownership of the path their life is heading. His coaching philosophy is grounded in his patient optimism and infectious energy. Through analogies, metaphors, visuals, and experiential storytelling, he helps his clients find perspective and develop sustainable pathways forward. Please help me welcome Trevor Moore. Good
Thank
day,
you.
Trevor.
Hey, thank you for that wonderful introduction, and thank you for everybody that's been up already and sort of set the stage for this. It's great to be here. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with all of you. I know at any time of the year, this type of content matters, but we're rolling towards the new year, and this is where everybody sort of renews themselves and resets. And everybody has goals, whether they believe in New Year's resolutions or not. There's some sort of form of rebirth that takes place January 1st, and we kind of move forward. I want to capitalize on that a little bit, maybe help some people find some traction and hit January 1st running rather than sort of limping into January 1st and trying to build a plan or a process forward there. As mentioned, my name's Trevor Moore, and I spent many years, through my chronic pain journey. I'm a mental health advocate as well. I'm a neurodiverse adult, and I like to refer to myself as an overthinker in recovery. I'm an overthinker. I get anxious, I get overwhelmed, and my whole life I've been sort of limited. I've played small. I've struggled and challenged myself in many ways I didn't need to be challenged by holding back and out of fear, self-doubt, overwhelm, and chronic overthinking, perfectionism, procrastination. These are the things that come back and haunt us, right? In a year, we look back and these are the things that have held us back. And I want to share a little bit about some of my philosophy and some of my strategies that I use to really simplify the process you can take between now and January 1st. And you can hit that 2023 mark and really hit it at your cruising altitude and kind of move forward and kind of go from there. I mean, at the end of the day, the process I want to share today is what's called the 3 A's, or what I refer to as the 3 A's. And it's a simple philosophy I use, a simple 3-step framework you can use if you're setting goals. You can use if you're tackling a challenge or a struggle in your life, some adversity, any of those times where you feel overwhelmed, anxious, you're struggling to battle or manage those racing thoughts, that self-doubt, that fear, all of those types of things. And it really comes down to walking through the 3 A's. And I'm going to share those with a little bit of detail today and a little bit of context around them. But really, when we find a challenge in our world, and when I'm working with this as a person who's dealt with chronic pain for many years, I've worked through some of this myself. I've used this philosophy myself, but I use it with my clients as well. And it comes down to 3 simple steps. When we embrace a challenge, when we face something in our world, really walking through it or really navigating through it comes down to a process. And number one, the first key that anything that happens when we are trying to navigate forward is we need to go through the first A, which is acknowledgement. The second A is acceptance, and the third A is action. And when it comes to the acknowledge, accept, and act, I want to walk you through those a little bit today, because these are the steps that we need to go through when we're going through our challenges, when we're navigating goals, when we're moving forward in our lives. It's not always going to be smooth. Let's be real about this. The reality is life is messy. It can be as much as a bad night's sleep that sets us off track. It can be a rough morning. It can be an argument with a spouse or or a struggle with our children, any of these things can set us off. And it's really about how we can set ourselves up to navigate these moments when they do come forward. And when it comes down to the struggles in this situation, it comes down to walking through the three. And number one being the acknowledgement. When we are struggling in a situation or setting a goal, maybe we're not struggling, we're trying to grow or we're trying to move forward, we have this vision or growth for ourselves. The first thing is we need to acknowledge, and we need to acknowledge the reality that's at hand. See, most people struggle, and the struggle isn't the problem, it's how they're viewing the problem. And we need to really acknowledge what it is. So often, you know, we get ourselves struggling, and the challenge is taking this action, and we kind of, you know, put energy in and we struggle, and then we get going and we get momentum, and then we lose steam and we fall off and we rebuild and we create a new plan and we navigate forward and we get at it for 10 days and we lose steam and we start over. We've all been there on that roller coaster. And in that acknowledgement phase, we really have to understand a few things. I'm a huge believer that we can solve it, manage it, cure it, control it. The real challenge is in determining what it is. We have to acknowledge the reality of the struggle or the reality of the goal that we're looking at. And we have to acknowledge a few keys. In the acknowledgement phase of the challenge, we need to look at our story, and we need to look at where we are, where we want to be, when we want to be there, and how hard we want to work to get there. We have to be realistic about all those moments. We have to understand all these points on the map. When we go on a journey, if I'm going on a road trip from the East Coast to the West Coast, I have to have my starting point, my end point, and I need to have a good vision of where I'm stopping in between, where I'm going, who I'm meeting, where I'm resting, where I'm fueling up, where I'm sleeping, who I'm meeting along the way. I need to have a map. I need to have a vision. We don't just leave our driveway and hope we end up from the East Coast on the West Coast. We have a vision. We have a map for ourselves. That's what keeps us on track. And we have to really acknowledge that map and really put the tacks on the map and figure out where we're going. We have to acknowledge these in one really simple way. And this is the power that I find for a lot of people. So often people view acknowledgement as being one of two things, either optimistic or pessimistic. It's one of those, you know, I'm either being really optimistic or I'm being really pessimistic. And the reality is those are the two poles, but those aren't the only two options. It's a spectrum. Now, optimism is great. Yes, pessimism, we all can agree. Pessimism is never the answer. But the reality is, I'm here to tell you, as somebody that was battling chronic pain for 10 years, optimism hurts sometimes too, because we can set ourselves up on unrealistic expectations. We set ourselves up for plans that aren't going to manifest, and then we just crush ourselves. I went to many appointments thinking this is the doctor that's going to diagnose the problem and solve it for me, only to find out 5 minutes later they were struggling, they couldn't figure it out, and they sent me to the next person. That optimism was popped. The reality is the middle. It's not optimism, it's not pessimism, it's what I call realism. It's acknowledging the moment for what it is with real, honest, factual, accurate, and actionable statements. It has to be acknowledgement. If I'm working with somebody who's trying to lose 30 pounds, we have to get them on a scale to figure out what the way at the beginning. Now, looking at the number on the scale, is that pessimistic? Is that optimistic? Or is that realistic? It is where I am. We have to build realism. Realism is critical in this scenario. We need to do it with love. We need to be honest with ourselves. We need to be real. And if we are lovingly real about where we are, we stand a chance to move forward. As soon as we're pessimistic, that's never a good thing. But as soon as we're overly optimistic, we become disillusioned by what the work is ahead of us. So when we acknowledge in that first phase, we need to look at our problem and find this perspective by being real with ourselves, being loving, being patient, being kind, being honest, and asking ourselves, is this something I can take action on? Now, acknowledgement is step one. Step two in this process is acceptance. And this is the critical piece, because many people will acknowledge their goals. They will acknowledge their dreams. They will acknowledge their visions. They will acknowledge the story of why they are where they are. If we go through this phase of acceptance and we accept it to be true, acceptance doesn't mean you have to like where you are. It means you accept it to be honestly, truthfully where you are. It's the realism and the acceptance where you are. Acceptance is a tipping point that allows us to go into action. We all know that person who tells you their story, and then they tell you their story again, and they tell you it again. They're locked in acknowledgement. They're stuck in their story. They have not accepted their story. They're hoping that the more they tell their story, the more it will make sense, the more they'll find the new solution, the new answer, the new person that will help them. The reality is they need to accept that their story is what it is and be honest with themselves. Acceptance is the tipping point that takes acknowledgement into action. And acceptance is huge. And we need to spend a lot of time in acceptance. We really need to get good at accepting our situation for what it is. It isn't a bad thing. It is just accepting it for the way it is, knowing it can be better, and we are in control and we can take charge of that and move forward. If we miss the acceptance phase, and I see this all the time, we'll use January 1st with New Year's resolutions as the example here. We see people who get into January 1st and they acknowledge that they have these things they want to change in their world or these goals they want to achieve, and they immediately go into action. They've never really had the moment where they've talked to themselves and come to acceptance that there's going to be work ahead and that it is doable and that it is solvable, it is manageable, and it is something they can take control of and that they're in charge. They go from acknowledgement to action. And then after 10 days, they don't go to the gym again because they run out of steam. And then they go back and they acknowledge, and then they go back to action. And then they 10 days later fall off and they go back and forth and back and forth. And the reality is because they haven't taken time to sit with themselves and feel the discomfort of the situation and accept it for what it is. Acceptance is huge in this puzzle. Do not skip the stage of acceptance. It feels like you're doing nothing, but the reality is you're just not taking action yet. Everybody wants to immediately go to the action steps. You've got to acknowledge, you've got to walk through acceptance before you can take action. Once it comes to acknowledging acceptance, and then you move to that final stage, which is action, this is where the work comes in. But if you've done your work and you've acknowledged that roadmap on that journey, East Coast to West Coast, like I talked about, you have this map that you can look at, the stuff that you can go from day to day. And this allows you to be intentional, which is huge because at the end of the day, actions can change a moment, but a habit can change your life. And you have to repeat an action over and over again to become a habit so that it can go sort of subconscious and you can set that cruise control on that journey and just worry about steering and navigating. You don't need to worry about controlling the speed. And it allows us to be intentional, breaking this down into small, tiny bites, knowing what our work is each and every day. Small, simple steps. I find people's steps are far too big. I'll give you an example. I had a client who had the goal to get to the gym 4 days a week. And in the first week, at the end of the week, we did a quick debrief call, and she said, I didn't get there. And I asked why, and she said, I was too tired after work, and I didn't know what to work out and do. I didn't have a workout planned. And I said, but your goal wasn't to get there and have a great workout. You told me your goal was to get to the gym 4 times. I don't care if you got there, walked in, filled your water bottle, weighed yourself, and left. I had no measurement of how that workout needed to look. But I'll tell you this, if you got there 4 days in a row, walk in the door and walk back out, eventually you're going to walk in and stay a while. And you're going to work out. You're going to do those little things. We need to get to the root of the challenge. Let's not get so big. It's not, I'm going to burn 800 calories 4 days a week. I'm going to do a full body workout. No, I'm going to get to the gym. That is the only metric that matters. You'll figure it out from there. Fumble forward. Make it happen one step at a time. Be willing to do it messy and be willing to learn and grow as you go. You're not going to get it right at the beginning. You're not. You need to take those action steps and then reflect. So you take this daily action each and every week, and then you reflect on it at the end of every week and you recalibrate and redirect. Much like hitting construction on that road trip. If you have to take a left because there's a roadblock, you just know that you take a left, you take a right, and another left, and you're back on track because you have a vision, because you have a roadmap, because you know where you're going. You don't panic with the adjustments along the way. They are just minor speed bumps in the process. They don't stop you, right? So that small little bits and pieces that go into it. And the thing that comes into this is we're trying to take this daily action and these small little steps, they become a habit because then they become something we don't need to think about. And that is where the power is. That's where the gas mileage is in all of these things. If we have to think and plot through every minute of our day, it's exhausting. But if we can build one little piece until it becomes a habit, which means it happens with little to no conscious prompting, now all of a sudden we can stack another habit on top, build a new one, and add that in. And once that becomes something we're working with, we add another piece to it. We can habit stack. And then we start really, really getting some big gains with the work we're doing. But the thing that so often people miss in this equation, and this is huge, it's a 2-step process. Number one, I'm here to tell you, learning a new habit is actually really quite easy. Getting rid of the old habit is where the hard work is. See, the old habit is comfortable, it's convenient, it's easy, it's subconscious, it happens without you thinking. You need to get rid of the old habit to install the new habit. That's the tipping point. That's the habit exchange that needs to take place. And we see people all the time, they work until they get it right and they think they're done. No, you're not done practicing that habit until you no longer get it wrong. That's the difference. That means the old habit has been purged. Now, what we need to do to break that is we need to build in what I call a disruptor. Because if something happens without us thinking, how do we stop it from happening? It's happening before we realize it's happening. I want to give you an example of building a disruptor or an adjustment in our world. If we're trying to change habits, don't outthink overthink this. Don't get too deep down that line. I had a client who had 2 small goals. And number one, the client wanted to drink more water. Felt like she was maybe dehydrated. That was one of the reasons she wasn't taking the uptake of her vitamins and meds quite so much, struggling with some other digestive issues, and really just lost energy. She felt hydration was a big piece of her puzzle. We wanted to drink more water, or she wanted to. We've all been there, right? We want to drink more water in a day. It's a simple task, theoretically. The second one was she wanted to spend less time mindlessly thumbing through social media on her phone. She wanted to be more intentional with her use of her phone and really not, make it the evil and take it away from her life. She knew there was power in staying connected through social media, but she wanted to make sure she didn't all of a sudden find herself thumbing through her screen, forgetting how she even got there. And an hour later, she was still thumbing through. We've all been there. So she wanted to spend less time on her phone and drink more water. She came up with one simple disruptor. And it was super simple, and it changed everything for her. It didn't require lots of effort, lots of energy, and mind-crushing work. She simply sat at her desk, and she took her phone and turned it face down. And she used it as a coaster for her water bottle. Now, this did 2 things. Number one, every time she, as a habit, reached for her phone, because we all do it, she had to go through her water bottle, which immediately created a disruptor, got her thinking, and thought, I'm going to take a drink of water. But while she was taking a sip of water, she could ask herself, did I mean to grab the phone? Was that intentional? Or was that a habit? Was that an avoidance strategy? Was it something I was using to procrastinate? Yes, it was. Finished her water, put the water back down the phone, went back to work or doing what she was doing. That one little disruptor changed everything. She started drinking more water, spending way less time on her phone simply by setting an environment up that disrupted the old habit so that she could install the new habit. And eventually it just became the way she operated. So when it comes to tackling your goals, when it comes to putting this stuff in play, really, really walk through the 3 simple steps. You need to acknowledge the whole process ahead of you. You need to acknowledge it with loving realism, not optimism, not pessimism, just real. Just write it down. Just be honest with yourself about the work that's going to be ahead, the stumbles that you might get into, the fact it's not going to be smooth because life can be messy. It's how you're going to regroup in those tough times. And then come to acceptance that, yeah, this is where I am. This is the work I need to do. And if I do it, I get where I want to go. If I don't, I stay where I am. This is really quite simple. And then you can move into those little action steps where you take those small daily steps each and every day. Don't overindulge in the steps. I want to finish with one simple analogy, one that pretty much everybody can understand. And this is where I find that so many of my students overreach. And I myself did too for years. And this comes back to one of my favorite coaches when I was a young athlete, because I used to be a golf coach and I used to be a professional golfer. And one of the things that really, really jumped out at me was one of my first coaches that I ever really enjoyed reading, Harvey Penick. And Harvey Penick was a golf coach who was ahead of his time. He really worked on mindset and thinking. And he had this sort of statement, and I want to give some context to it. But if you were struggling with a physical ailment, and if you woke up and you weren't feeling well for a couple of weeks, you're going to go to your doctor. We've all done that. We've gone to the doctor, and the doctor has done this acknowledgement for us. They've done some tests. They've acknowledged where we are, and they're like, yep, this is the challenge. This is what you're struggling with. And then they get their prescription pad out and they write it out. There's 30 pills, 1 a day for 30 days. And when they're all done, you're back to normal. We've all been there, right? We've all gone through that process of having that challenge, having it diagnosed, being given the prescription, 1 pill a day, 30 days, and we go. When the doctor leaves us with the prescription, he says, take 1 pill a day, and in 30 days, everything will be clear. Does it ever make any sense to walk out and think, hey, hold it a second? He said, when I'm done all 30 pills, I'm fine. Why would I wait 30 days? Why not just take all 30 pills today? Because when he said they're done, I'm fine. Why wait 1 a day for 30 days? It would make no sense to take the whole bottle now, or you have bigger problems than the one you began with. And we have to remember that dosing matters. It doesn't matter what you prescribe for yourself. Dosing is every bit as important as what you're doing. And that is huge to me. And Harvey Penick's statement with his clients all the time, and I use it with myself, is, are you taking a pill, Trev, or are you taking the whole bottle? And 9 times out of 10, when I'm struggling, it's one of those, I'm taking the whole bottle. I'm trying to rush this process. I'm trying to run it through and push it through and plow it through, rather than going, you know what? Dosing matters. Take 1 today, take 1 tomorrow, take 1 the next day, slow, steady steps, and I'll be fine before I know it. Patience matters. And we must get into dosing. So remember that when you're walking to that challenge, really get out your notebook or hop onto a computer and type out those 3 phases: acknowledgement, acceptance, and action. And really set yourself in, acknowledge the problem with loving realism, accept it to be true, and then just take those small, simple actions each and every day with intention and regroup at the end of each week so you can refresh and recalibrate and redirect yourself in case you hit those little roadblocks. Because it's not if you stumble, it's when you stumble. So be prepared for those moments. Understand what you're going to do when they happen and really kind of march forward from there. So I hope you find some value in those 3 steps. There is, I have the worksheets for them actually on my website. If you want, you can go to virtualcoachingacademy.ca. On the homepage, you can download the 3 A's worksheets, but it is the simple process. And that is what I challenge people with, is really get into simplifying your process down to walking through those 3. You will find that when you are struggling, you'll be able to identify which of the 3 phases you're struggling with. Have you acknowledged? No, I haven't. Okay, that's where the work is. Or I've acknowledged, but I'm struggling to accept. I keep re-acknowledging. Or I've acknowledged, I've accepted, but I'm not taking the action. Maybe you're overprescribing yourself, one small step at a time. But we can then tackle the right problem. We don't have to fix the whole system. It's not completely broken. It's a step. Figure out which step you're on, figure out if you've jumped steps, and figure out what's missing, and you'll be so much better off, and you'll find so much more traction in your day, and you can move forward with patient optimism. And that's kind of the key, the 3 A's to happiness, health, and wellness. You are in charge. And at the end of the day, the whole overarching scope of this, which comes, I can really resonate with this as somebody who went through chronic pain for so long and deals with mental health challenges. And I see this in my clients all the time, but I need you to remember this. If you don't love yourself where you are, you're not going to love yourself when you get where you want to go either. It really is an inside job. You need to learn to love yourself and accept yourself along the way. Don't just accept the process, accept you for who you are, accept you for each little step of that process away and each little blip along the way. But you need to love yourself along the way, or you're not going to get what you want out of it when you arrive where you need to. That's what I call a geographical cure. Geographical cures fix nothing. You need to fix yourself from the inside out, because we can't control the world around us. We can only control the world inside us. And if we do that, we have the ability to influence the world around us. And that's where the real power is. So if you have questions, you can get in touch with me. But thank you so much for some time this morning. It's an honor to be here with all of you talking and sharing.
Thank you so much, Trevor, for sharing this good content with us today. And I would actually like to add another A,
Yeah.
and that is accountability. We've got several coaches on the platform today. And if you are struggling, this is our commercial. If you are struggling, and the reality of it, this is very true. That's why we need coaches. That's why we need, whether that's a trainer, a travel coach, empowerment coaches. You know, we've got several coaches on the platform today. And if you're watching and you're struggling to, follow some of these A's, and I've got to be honest with you, Trevor, I had some cognitive dissonance happening today, because I am an optimist. And I'm like, wait a minute, acceptance. Wait a minute, not the real, that goes against what, my norm is like. No, I can do it, and I can see, if I can think big, but as I was listening to you, I gotta say, I became a believer. I can look over my life at different points in my life where, when I accepted the reality of it, right? Whether that was a bad relationship, I had to acknowledge, this is not good. And then I accepted the truth. Well, maybe this person really don't love me. Maybe she's really not a good friend. Then I could kick them to the curb, right? And start living my best life.
Yes.
My life got better, and so I start to look over my life at just different things that you're absolutely right. You have to accept where you are for the truth. And then when you acknowledge that truth and you accept that truth being real, then you're gonna make those actions, right? You're gonna start making those steps towards a better life so that you can accomplish your vision. So yes, thank you so much, Trevor, for sharing. I mean, it was just loaded with so much good stuff. I could go on and on and on and on about, and dosing matters, right? Dosing matters. I have found myself being very impatient and overdosing on trying to develop new habits. But I've learned as well, patience matters. So thank you so much, Trevor, again. And thank you to everyone that has shared thus far. If you are watching and you have not shared, shame on you. This is some amazing information that's going to transform someone's life. So please share, ask questions, comment. This is really good. And we want as many people to have that transformative life that they can get from just implementing a few things that we're getting today. So up next, I am so pleased to share with you our next speaker. I introduced her earlier. I'm going to do it again. For those of you that are just tuning in, she goes by the name Sheila Malcolm. She is a certified transformational life coach. She is the owner and CEO. She's a compassionate empowerment officer of Look Within Life Coaching, LLC. She's the author of the book Free Me From Me. Chains were meant to be broken. She is a passionpreneur. She believes that the pain we go through can be repurposed through resilience to help us become the authentic person we are meant to be. So please help me welcome Sheila Malcolm. Good day, Sheila.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. How are you? So much great nuggets so far. I'm excited to be in the space. I'm excited to be at the table, and I just love this atmosphere and the opportunity to share and to encourage. As one of our speakers say, resolutions, something that people do at the beginning of the year. But like I said the other day on the recording, resolution, they don't work if you don't work them. So I'm glad to be in the room, and I'm happy to share.
Thank you so much, Sheila, for being here with us today. We're just so excited and we're so open to hear what you have to share with us on today. So tell us, what are some of the benefits of setting, of goal setting?
Well, goal setting is like a roadmap, right? And like Stephen Covey said in the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, is that you have to start with the end in mind. So if you have a vision for what it should look like in your imagination, then you're excited about taking the steps. Even when you fall down, even when there are detours, you're excited about pushing forward.
Very good. I love Stephen Covey. I'm definitely an advocate for the 7 habits of highly effective people. So thank you very much. So Sheila, I'm going to yield the floor to you. Please share with us what you have on your heart today.
Okay, thank you so much. I am so excited to be in the room, and I do have a question for those who are in the comment section. Did you know that you can have sight but no vision? And Helen Keller put it she summarized it so well. Her quote says, "The only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision." The other day, I had an experience where my son called out of the blue, and he's like, my older son, he said, "Mom, do you need contact lenses?" And I'm like, I thought it was an odd, weird question. And I was excited. I'm like, "Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, I'm down to my last 5." And he said, "Well, send me your prescription. I will gift you some." And I was excited for that gift. When I gave him my prescription, he called me and said, "Mom, you blind. You can't see." And I was like, "Son, that may be so, but I want you to know, even though I have poor eyesight, I do have a compelling vision." He said, "Mom, that you do." And so I'm excited to share a little bit about the power of vision, because vision is that thing that you don't see. And Helen Keller reminds us that even though she, as an author, an American author, she was a disability rights advocate. She was a political activist. She was also a lecturer. She lost her sight and her hearing at 19 months, and that didn't stop her. That didn't stop her because she had vision for her life. And it's critical when we have vision for our life, because in order to have that powerful outcome that we want, we first must answer these questions. And as coaches, I ask lots of questions, and questions allow us to go deeper. And as I work with my clients, I will ask questions that cause them to say, "I got to get back to you on that. I need to think about this some more. I've never thought about that." So it's important that we sit down in our reflection time, as Trevor mentioned, and ask ourselves questions. So today, I want to take the next few minutes to answer these questions for you. What is vision? What is power? And why do you need vision? And does vision work for you? What does it do? So here's a question. Power. Power is a force, a momentum. It's energy. It's what will move the needle forward. And your vision is that thing that you have in your imagination, is that grandiose, audacious goals that when you think about it, it scares you. And if your dream doesn't scare you, then it's not big enough. You must need help to carry the load of that vision that you have. And like Renee said earlier, you have to have compelling vision. And when we have compelling vision, the power of it, the momentum of it, the energy of it will pull us forward. And one of the things that you can do to make sure your vision stay current and stay fresh, you may use a vision board. And vision board, you may write out in words or you may use pictures that when you look at it, you're excited. It gives you a roadmap. It reminds you of the commitment that you're making to yourself and say, these things I will do because that's where I want to get to. So the power in the vision is to pull you up higher, is to make sure that you're moving forward. And when we look at vision, you can have multiple visions. You can have a vision for your personal life. You can have a vision for your family, but you can also drill down further. And for your personal life, you may have a vision for your health, your wealth, the enjoyment, things you want. So you want to create a picture of what it looks like before it even happens. Yes, we all need vision in every area of your life, just like you need a coach. Successful people have multiple coaches that speak into different areas of their life. So if you need some help, you need to tap into one of these coaches that's here today to help you get moving faster, better, and higher. So why do we need vision? We need vision to keep our commitment. We need vision to remind us of what we said we're going to do, the aspiration to give us hope, to help us to succeed, and to also give us a compass, a guide to stay true north, a guide to commit to ourselves each and every day that this is what I committed myself to. As a person of faith, I draw from Habakkuk 2:2. It said, write your vision and make it plain so that when you see it, you can run. If it's not clear, you're not going to run. You're not going to remember what it is. So we must be clear about what it is that we want. We must be clear about the end result that we are looking for. And once we know that, then we can go forward, even though we have disappointment, even though we are hurting, even though people are not working with us to get it done, we can move forward. Your vision keeps you focused. And what does a vision do for you and I? It causes us to go deeper. It causes us to pull out the deepest desire that we have down on the inside of us. And like I said, Stephen Covey said, we must create the picture of the life we want with the end in mind. In Hollywood, from what I was told, they make the end of the movie before they make the beginning. And so the life that you want, you need to create. It needs to scare you. It needs to pull you up higher. It needs to cause you to get excited about the next thing that you have to do. It calls you to be fulfilled. It calls you to be intentional. It's important that we are intentional. Your vision will pull you forward. It will help you to overcome obstacles. I want to pause here for a second and just tell you, there's so many obstacles that I had to overcome in my life. And you can too. The question was asked earlier about imposter syndrome. So many of us have struggled with that. We don't think we belong at the table. But I want you to know you have to do it and do it scared. And that's what I had to do. I had to reinvent my life. After being married 24 years and my relationship came to an end, I had to figure it out. Working in corporate America 24 plus years, and I had to figure out what to do. I had a vision. I have a vision to touch women's lives and to help them to come up higher. The vision for Look Within Life Coaching is to empower women globally to find their authentic self so that they can live their life from a place of strength. Here's the thing. I couldn't teach them that. I couldn't want that for them if I didn't do it first in me. I understand what that's like. I understand that I had to dust off myself and to get going with a new way of thinking. I had to dump the negative thinking that I had in my past life and I was struggling with. And like you said, Trevor, in my coaching process, I have 3 R's that I live by and I coach my clients with. And those 3 R's are: one, reframe. I had to reframe what happened to me. It's not time for a pity party. Yes, you can have a pity party, but you can't stay there long. And I had to move from there. And then I had to tell myself the second R is to reframe my mind, how I thought about the things that happened to me and realize they happened for me. It is critical that we understand that the things that we go through, the hardships that we go through, is happening for us. It will help to pull us higher, forward, and we must lean into that. And the last R is a release process. It's in the release process that you can grow, you can stretch, you can become, but it's also in the release process you can forgive yourself. So many times we struggle with success because we have not yet learned to accept our worth, to accept that who we are is amazing. Who we are masterpieces, not because we're perfect. We are all flawed beings, but we know that we have everything we need on the inside. And if you don't know, it's now time for you to connect with a coach to help you to figure out that compelling vision that you want for your future. I want you to know your money is in your vision. Your joy is in your vision. Your vision for your life, it's what you need each and every day to keep pulling you forward. I remember I was listening to a story once, and they were talking about a gentleman who wanted to build a chair. These were many, many years ago. And he was asking for a chair. And all of a sudden he realized he wasn't going to get the chair, but he saw trees. And the vision in his mind was the chair is hidden in the trees. And as your coach, as your sister, as your teacher, I help you to look within you and find the power within your authenticity to get your core values together and line up your vision with your core values so that you can walk it out and know that who you are is within you. And you must look within to find the outcome that you want. The other story that I heard was that someone wanted to make glass dishes, wine glasses, and we're trying to figure out how. And the reality is it was hidden in the sand. It was hidden in the sand because it's in the sand that through the work of technology, they were able to figure out how to make this happen. Also, diamonds. Diamonds are hidden in the rocks. You may look at a diamond, a rough diamond, and you wouldn't think it's diamond until it goes through the pressure, until it goes through some hardship, until it goes through the fire and whatever process they use to make it happen. So your power is within you. So you have to have a compelling vision that's going to pull you forward every time you look at it. That vision that you have of yourself must be written in a way that you can see it. You can put it on your phone as a screensaver. You can put it on your laptop. You can hang it on a wall, put it on your dashboard, but put it in a place that you can see it, that every time you see it, you get energized. Every time you see it, you know, this is what I need to do. And I will keep on doing those small steps until I get there. I want you to know there was oil in the olive, but someone had to squeeze that olive to get the oil out. I enjoy great, tasty olive oil. And what I realized is that the olive oil had to come from the olives through a crushing process. We all can give an accolade or, talk about the things that we've been through to get to where we are. And sometimes people see where we are now and they think, oh, that's easy. But it's not until you share your story. I've had to pick myself up so many times from discouragement. I've gone through abortion and I had to tell myself what I did is not who I am. I went through a divorce. I had to tell myself what happened is not who I am. The vision that I have for myself is to help women come up higher and know that what they've been through is not who they are, but they can come up higher. My vision for you, my viewers, my listeners, is to know your power is within you. The compelling vision that you need is to know that everything you need is on the inside of it, is trapped in there, and you can find it. You just need to be an archaeologist. You need to go deeper, dig deeper to find it. I was talking with a lady the other day, and she told me she was 36 years old, and she wanted to get a husband. And we were talking about different things to get there. And one of the main things I heard from her, she didn't value herself. She didn't think she was worthy. She didn't think she had what it takes to be loved. And I told her the first thing you've got to do, my sister, is to start with you. You have to look within you and find those qualities. And we started to do the ABCs. And in the ABCs, I helped her to see those things that she didn't get to see in herself all along. And I encouraged her to take time to reflect. And what I want to say to you as I get out of here is that remember, your power is in you. The compelling vision you have is the force that's going to pull you forward. I am your coach. I am your sister. And I see power down on the inside of each and every one of you.
Yes. Thank you. Awesome.
Great job. Thank you so much, Sheila, for sharing that with us on today. I was so empowered just hearing you speak, just listening to you is so encouraging. And you said a lot of great things that I know encourage someone and really gave us what we need to understand that the power is within us. All of your analogies with the wine glasses in the sand and the diamonds in the rough, and it really speaks a lot to me because I also have struggled with depression and things that I had to overcome in my life at another point. And trying to see myself, like you say, you can have sight and not vision. Trying to see myself, because I am too a woman of faith, the way God sees me, right? Or trying to see myself becoming that person that, like you said, it's within us. I always had this something on the inside of me that told me there was more for my life. So thank you, Sheila. That was very empowering. If you're watching today, again, connect with one of these coaches. If something they said resonated within your heart, resonated in your soul, like a lot of our panelists talked about today, get out of your comfort zone. Invest in yourself, right? Get you someone to help you be accountable. 2023 is going to be an awesome year for all of us. It's going to be a new year because we're going to do some new things. We're going to try some of these tools and strategies that we learned today, and we're going to watch it work for us. We're going to do exactly what Ricardo said and be inspired so that we can be free. We're going to do what Renee said. We've got to be and do so that we can have. We're going to go ahead and implement those 3 A's with Trevor. And we're going to acknowledge, we're going to accept where we are, the reality, so that we can take action. And we're going to believe what Sheila said, that there is power within us, that we can do it. We can have that vision. We can reach our goals. We can become everything that is within us to become. I don't know about you, but I was extremely empowered and extremely encouraged today. I am honored to just be here to glean from such powerhouse people, powerhouse individuals that are just full of all this good wisdom. Thank you all for sharing with us on today. And I am going to bring up our host, Benita. She already introduced herself, but I'm going to just share a little bit more about her. She is the host of the TBX show. She is also, let's see, I'm sorry, guys. I have really been so empowered and so inspired by everything that was said today that I've got to get back. I've got to get back focused on what I'm supposed to be doing. She is the positive self-thought influencer. She is known as a voice on a mission, and she is exactly that because of her desire to point others inward. She is the founder again of the CEO, the Benny Expression, host of TBX show, the TBX show, the Voice on a Mission podcast, and lead coach at the Benny Speak Lead Academy. She is very passionate about helping people discover their uniqueness, build a thought pattern that makes them a priority, and speak and lead with confidence so that they can live life on their terms. You can hire or recommend her services. She's a public speaking trainer, leadership skill masterclass she has available, and she is also an event speaker. You can follow her on all of her social media platforms. Please give a warm welcome to Benita again. Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hello everyone. Yes. Now I know I can step into 2023 feeling all glowing and powerful. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Once again, thank you so much for coming to share all your ideas. And in a time like this, where we need to be inspired daily, when we need to be motivated daily, because a lot's going on around the world. I am so happy that you all said yes and took turn to share your story, your journey, your message, your unique strategies that's going to help us in 2023. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kamara. You're doing an awesome work. I recommend you all the time because you are doing this hosting job perfectly. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. I celebrate you. I celebrate everyone here, everyone who's taking turn to share their journey and their message. I celebrate you. I know it's not been an easy journey for you, but yet you still took time to step out of that comfort zone, take time to come out of that situation, and you're willing to still share your message with the world and your strategies. Thank you so much. I really want to appreciate Kamara for being a part of our show for this past three times. Yes, celebrate her, please. Thank you so much, Kamara. I celebrate you. Thank you for saying yes to host the Deepening Expression U Conference 2022. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm indeed honored. Thank you so much. And yes, thank you, Trevor. Thank you so much. Please let's celebrate Trevor for me. Thank you. I actually saw him post all the things on all these social media handles like, well, my God. Thank you so much for going out of your way to share with the world about our gathering today. Thank you for all the A's, like all the A's and A's we're going to use, and we need them in 2023 to help us become what we're created to be. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Yeah.
Ricardo. Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you so much. Please, another round of applause. Thank you, Ricardo. I really appreciate you. Like you shared from the beginning, you didn't even know what the topic was. I listened to one of his showing up and I'm like, okay, I would like him to come share on our platform because he's someone who's on a journey and is willing to share his message and to inspire and to encourage others. I'm like, yes, it definitely does. Because what we do in the Benny Expression Show is a free page. You come share your story so we can impact the next person. We're in Nigeria right now. We're in Nigeria right now because he was willing to share his story. Thank you so much, Ricardo. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Renee. Thank you so much. Thank you. I admire you. You look beautiful. You look so beautiful. Thank you so much for saying yes. Thank you. Your journey, your message, your story, they're unique and sharing them on our platform. I do not take it for granted. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm super grateful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
yeah,
Thank you all. I actually just want to mention, like, I came here, like, I'm just here to give and serve and see how I can help, but I've gotten so much from you guys. So thank you so much. All the speakers were incredible, and you guys have done an amazing job hosting. So thank you.
thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. How they do this, right? Thank you. Sheila, yes. Sheila, thank you so much. Sheila is like a two-time speaker on our U conference. She was with us last year, right, Sheila? Yes.
Yes.
Round of applause, please. She was here, and the first time we met, I could feel her fire, I could feel her power. When you're around people that pushes you, want you to become the best of yourself, they keep encouraging you, whatever they do. Sometimes they don't know they're doing it. You just want to keep staying around them. These are the kind of people that I want to stay around in 2023 so that I can get to wherever level I want to get to in life. So, Sheila, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I celebrate you. I celebrate you. And everyone, you that's watching the replay, wherever you are in the world, I celebrate you. 2022 couldn't have been so amazing without you. And I'm so grateful that you were part of the D Benny Expression Show, liking, loving, and commenting, and sharing your amazing feedbacks and recommendations. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Everyone, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so I know that today is my birthday, and before we set the date, before we set the date with Kamara, I didn't actually remember it was stated that we're talking like my birthday. Like, After I'm walking on the fly, like, Jesus, Jesus, are you serious? So it's like a double, a double celebration for me. Like I'm feeling all the vibes, all the inspiration. So all the gifts and all the blessings I've been praying for, I'm receiving them right now from all of you, all of your messages, all of your encouragement, all of your journey, inspirational stories. I receive them. So I want to say a very big thank you, and thank you again. So I'm gonna let Kamara wrap up for the day. So she's gonna tell, maybe if you have you can share your links on the comment, share your links on the comment box so that anyone that wants to follow afterward can actually join or connect with you. So Kamara, thank you once again everyone for coming. Thank you. You too that's watching, who'll be watching the replay. Thank you. I wish you all the best. Remember to stay focused. Remember you are strong, you are powerful. Remember you are intelligent, you are brave enough. Remember that you're not just a being, you are a masterpiece. You were crafted by the master and he's got your back. So as you're stepping into 2023, nothing is going to stop you unless you permit that thing to. So go all out. As a positive self-thought influencer, I will always tell you to think good things about yourself because you deserve the good things. You deserve that good life. You deserve that special opportunities, all the contract, everything beautiful in life that 2020 has got to offer. You deserve it. So step out there, put on your crown, step out there as a king and a queen that you are. Take your place, own your voice, your stage, your message, because God has got your back. He's got your back all the way. So whatever you're packing, all the stories, all the strategies you're packing from this gathering, make sure to implement them in 2023. And trust me, as I trust God, we're definitely going to gather again to celebrate our wins come 2023. So once again, thank you. And thank you again. Kamara, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you all for watching and tuning in. Thank you to our guests again. This has been a phenomenal conference. Thank you for tuning in to 2022 U Conference. I know you got everything you needed to start the new year off. So let me be the first to say Happy New Year to those of you watching. And that is all that we have today. So I'm going to ask everybody to come back up on our screen. And we're going to end with a celebration in honor of Benita. And so while you're watching, you can celebrate with us as we leave. Come on, everybody, help me say, Happy birthday to
Say
you.
to ya.
Happy
Happy
birthday to
birthday
you.
to ya.
Happy birthday.
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 Happy
Bye,
Happy
birthday.
everybody. Thank
birthday.
you.